Assalamualaikum. You're watching Desi TV USA and I'm your host Sumaira Salim. Guys, today we have a very special guest. She is the symbol of peace, Miss Nuri Ronanghy, co-founder of US Department of Peace and member of United Nations Eliminate Nuclear Weapons from all over the world. We welcome our special guest in Desi TV and Pakistan.
Thank you.
We have another guest with us, Mr. Alan SHORB. He will accompany us during our discussion with Ma'am Nuri. And I would like to introduce him as well. He is husband of Miss Nuri. A beautiful couple. We welcome a beautiful couple here.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. We actually established the U.S. Department of Peace together.
Okay.
And then we, in the UN, we met Mr. Ali Muhammad Khan. We're all three of us very interested in nuclear disarmament. And we met a nuclear disarmament commemoration in the UN. And from that point on, he decided he would start a Pakistani Department of Peace, and he's been very successful at getting that going.
Great, great.
So I will ask you, Miss Nuri Ronanghy, what is the difference between peace and freedom?
Peace and freedom. Peace, even though, unfortunately at this point, militarization and NATO and 800 military bases, US military bases, and I'm afraid even Pakistan having so much military rather than taking care of people. It takes everything away from public. Peace is bread that you have and you eat. If children don't have that, there is no peace. If they don't have a proper house, there is no peace.
True.
If they don't have parents who feel peaceful and take care of the children and parents, they can't have peace. Peace is everything. If you don't have knowledge of what is going on in the world to stop all that wars and violence, you cannot have peace. In United States, unfortunately, we have 2 mass murder per day. 2 mass murder per day. That is internal extension of the violence that military industry and NATO and military bases and nuclear bombs and it creates that insecurity. They say military is for security, is exactly the opposite. Security is having a warm, loving place.
Exactly.
Security is knowing where your food comes, your housing, your health care, the infrastructure of your society. These are security.
So in the name of security, basically the human beings are, ignoring the right to peace, to live in peace.
I don't know if it is human being or the systems and corporations that make a lot of money, or let's say they make a killing on killing.
True. Before we talk about political or social or economic peace, one thing I would like to mention here, the moment when you presented your visiting card, I was really impressed. You have printed photographs of your family on the backside of your card. It shows, of course, your love and passion and your inner peace.
That's right.
And always peace starts from your own house.
You're right.
So I appreciate your inner peace and the efforts you are making for bringing peace to the world. My question is, what is economic and social peace in presence of these death machines and war scenario? What are your views about this?
I loved where you started and how you started. You are right. Internal peace is the first step for all of us.
True.
The fear creates hate. And greed creates fear.
True. True.
Right. And division. So if we could stop the borders, who knows where I come from when we see each other? If we stop all that divisions that mostly powerful countries, power of love of power rather than power of love.
True.
They have love of power and they kill power of love.
Great. Yes, that's true.
We got to have power of love to make all of us peaceful, secure, sharing, caring, music, dance, eating together, traveling, enjoying, rather than the fear, rather than the hate that often, unfortunately, the systems and the powerful ones, out of greed, they create all of that for mostly women, for children, and for the whole world.
You mean if there is a peace, then the global scenario will be suitable and supportive for economic development, social development,
Of course.
even political development.
Of course.
Okay.
If we would spend what we are spending, or the governments and corporations are spending in violence and divisiveness, if we would spend that on people, the world would be so different.
Exactly.
We have about 2 billion under level on poverty.
Under
in
poverty
the
level.
world.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And we have trillions of dollars yearly around the world are being spent on killing each other.
Weapons, you can say
And
that.
weapons. Yeah. Weapons of mass destruction that they call, and they themselves do those things.
True.
Actually, tell me, what is security and its relation to peace? Economic security, police insecurity, and system terrorism.
When I was young, and I had 2 children that are now grown up, and I have grandchildren, I used to tell my neighbors, or whenever I would speak, that if I cannot have economic security in my life for me and my children, you better believe it that the only close resource that I may be thinking of is my neighbor or somebody, to whatever I can do to get myself fed and to get my children fed. So violence really comes of making our society need that survival. So when I see somebody trying to grab my purse, I look and I say, I think and I say, he needs to survive. He needs to eat. And I have more than my eating need in my purse. He deserves that. And that is what the system creates those problems for all of us.
True.
For all of us. Thief and thievery is only because of need. Now greed and billionaires, maybe their need is not really searchable.
Do you believe in equal distribution of resources among the people?
I believe in caring. I believe governments are responsible to help communities and society to be productive as well as enjoying.
Okay. True.
As well as enjoying. Everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants to enjoy life. So when you see somebody that cannot afford to survive life, it's not his fault. Shame of poor is on the rich and greedy ones, not on the poor people.
True.
Which means you want to say that if you want to change our system, so we have to work on a peace as well.
You have to have peace. And having peace, you cannot have peace if you are a billionaire, unless you are being protected by a whole group watching that nobody harms them. The harm comes from the greed that they have and from the attention that they are not giving to the society and robbing the society.
Okay.
When you rob the society, then you cannot be secure. It's natural because everybody wants to survive.
So to bring peace, basically we have to treat with the hate, fear, greed, oppression.
Right. We got to resist exploitation, oppression, and they do. There are all kind of resistance, and there are all kind of struggle going on. Except the best would be if we could have human feeling and intelligence, that it is best for those who are up there to also have peace, because they cannot have peace when they rob public from their wealth, from their hard work. You cannot have peace.
If we talk about the peace, so what is the actual relation of a peace with love, prosperity, and the equality?
Okay. There is peace internal. This internal peace cannot be claimed if from childhood you are struggling for food, you're struggling for a safe home, you're struggling for love and care.
True.
A child needs care. An elderly needs care. We all need each other's love and care and sharing, and each other's smile, and each other to have food, all of us together. To dance, play, music, poetry, comfort, and love, and peace. All of these are one.
Every country use their weapons for a defense. So as you are working for the eliminate nuclear weapons all over the world, so how we can make a world without weapons?
For example, I will add, you mentioned Pakistan and India. We have very sensitive borders. So when we say we need weapons for our defense, what could be the formula for countries like Pakistan and India? How we can bring peace?
Okay. Pakistan and India were one country. except it was colonized
Yes.
before that under British for 200 years.
Yeah. United India. Yes.
You know better than I do your own history as part of India, as you were colonized by British, as your resources, your parents and others explained to you, as I just did about the coup d'etat in Iran. You know how your resources were robbed by British, and 70, 80 other countries right now are being robbed by United States, EU, and others. What is happening right now in Ukraine is only for military industry to get rich. The killing of Ukrainian, the killing of Russian by United States military. That could have been done what for 50 years Russia waited and tried, that Ukraine and Russia for more than 370 some years, they were one country. They were together. You know all of that. And then 2014, US, the elected representative of people in Ukraine, they carried coup d'etat against him and overthrew him and brought their own agent to power.
Okay.
And since then, look what is happening. Every year, Egypt, Ukraine, and Israel were the three biggest military receiver from United States, out of course, 70, 80 other countries that also every year they receive military from United States. So this disagreements or problem that they were facing, and the Russian background people part of Ukraine, because Ukraine, you talk to so many people, the wife says, I am Ukrainian, the husband is Russian, or the other way around. Any state of your country, people together, they marry and all that. That's what it was. And here, rather than coming and looking at the problems, United States, as usual, coming out of Afghanistan, coming out of, after 20 years of killing, coming out of Iraq, and suddenly, without answering anything, jumping to Ukraine and killing Ukrainian people under the pretext of supporting Ukraine. Ukrainian people didn't want that.
So do you think the modern world is thinking that the de-weaponization is the only solution?
It will. It is. It is going fast. Look at the countries. China, in the matter of 40 years, 800 million people are prosperous and they brought up. Next door neighbor to Pakistan.
Okay, yes.
800 million people. And now whatever negotiations and work they are doing two-way relationship, beneficial for themselves and beneficial for the host country.
It can be one of the good examples.
That's right.
But on global level, how this goal can be achieved when there are, this world is now unipolar now.
It's
How we
losing.
can, gain this?
Fortunately, it's going down. Only those countries that are semi-allied with US, they feel that it's unipolar and they are powerful. And Europe, they're going down very fast. China is 1.5 billion. India is with Pakistan is more than 1.5 billion. This is 1/3, no, more than 1/3 of the whole world population.
Yes.
These 2 countries or 3 countries is count Russia, China, and North Korea, Cuba. You will see that half of the world, India,
Yes.
half of the world.
So we are the living in the multipolar world now.
Hopefully the issue of polar will be gone.
Okay.
We hopefully will be living with the youth. We will be living in a world, in our global world. And our global world is what benefits you benefits me.
True.
What benefits her benefits me. It's irrelevant, Pakistan and Iran.
True.
Pakistan has to get ready more with their neighbor, that hopefully they are doing the Belt and Road
Yeah,
Exactly.
all over. Now, fortunately, you will see that China is not just doing things for its own country. 70 countries are doing business with China.
Indeed.
That's why United States is coming up, shaking about China and Russia and putting $100 billion military in Ukraine. And this is help for Ukraine? No. This is for killing Ukrainian people and Russia. Now all of them are shaking because now they are starting to talk. We got to negotiate, because they lost. They lost, and
So what do you suggest for, shortly, kindly mention few steps for bringing peace in the world?
okay.
Those steps may be the initiatives by United Nations.
Yes. Well, even United Nations, we need to work on United Nations too, to move it really to for many years, United States, because of the power of money, had also the power of United Nations.
True.
So when U.S. attacked Iraq, it was so-called with the consent of United Nations.
If you will talk about the Pakistan, so what is you will explain relation between peace and Pakistan and what to do?
Okay. Actually, it was interesting because Pakistani people know better than I do what they need. But I have been very interested listening, especially to youth, about the situation of Pakistan. Demilitarization and denuclearization is the best step for Pakistan. It's simple. Let's calculate how much the loans from IMF and International Monetary Fund and also World Bank. Let's put it together. And let's put it how much yearly it's being spent on military, on nuclear, and on legal.
I totally agree, but what will happen to our security then? That's a major question.
What is security?
We are next neighbor to India. I mean,
Without
if
presence, how we can
we
Okay.
initiate,
Okay. If Pakistan can bring its citizen up That's the best security. That's the best. Security is not from gun.
True.
We talked at the beginning that in United States, there is as much insecurity United States as inside US that it has outside because of racism, because of daily mass murder, 2 a day, mass murder, not murder, mass murder, 2 per day. That is insecurity. So talking that guns or military can give you security
No.
with the country that you were won 70, 80 years ago, who did it? Who created your neighbor? You were one. Who created India as your enemy? Imperialist state. Pakistan is, do you know Arundhati Roy? Okay. Arundhati Roy, interestingly, talks about this and says that Pakistan and India, she's Indian, she wanted to come to Pakistan, she had to go through so much. And she believes that, which is true, all of us believe, that this division was created by imperialism, colonialization and neo-colonization. Now Pakistan is under neo-colonization, under the thumb of United States, spending all that military and spending negotiation and being together. Pakistan and India, people are not enemies. People are not. It's the system. It's those guns. If you say no gun,
True.
you will be safe. Right now, Costa Rica is the single small country that has no military. Nobody is attacking Costa Rica.
So, ma'am, what is your message to our youth?
I enjoyed Pakistan. This was my first time here. I loved people, like everywhere else, really. I would love to have you in United States, my guests.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My advice is we need to bring the people's education about the truth that military does not give security. Nuclear does not give security. Full stomach, good housing, secure and love and care and share of society intermingling. That is the peace. That is the security. I don't need security. I never have seen you or you or you or you or you. So many. I've seen you, by the way, before.
Thank you very much, Madam Nuri Ronanghy and Mr. Alan SHORB. Thank you very much for being with us. It was very nice discussion and your presence. Thank you for sparing your precious time for this interview.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
So viewers, goodbye.
Thank you.